right, and it is, everyone. It is that time for another edition of Marilyn's Cafe Society show right here on YouTube. How are you doing? Ooh, it's cold. It's cold where I am. I'm not going to say anything else, okay? Nothing else about it. We just have to do what we have to do, of course. Pull out the gloves, the boots, and all that good stuff. All right, so it's been a week, 2 weeks, 2 Saturdays since we've actually talked, and a lot has happened. But first, let's just get this out the way in case you did not know. Today is Saturday, October the 13th. It is wow, how many? 11 more weeks. 11 more full weeks before we enter a new year, everybody. So the year is really winding down here. And we have 10 more Saturdays before we hit Christmas. So one of my favorite times of year. I can't say that enough. I hope you agree. All right. And so this would be the second Saturday of our 12 Saturdays of Christmas gift bag giveaway. So we weren't on last week due to an emergency that came up. And of course, this week, what I've decided to do, since I'm going to be out and about in the community next Saturday, I'm just going to do the gift bag giveaways at that location. And I'll tell you about that a little bit later on before we sign off for today. But yeah, we're in our 12 Saturdays till Christmas countdown. Yeah. And this is the second Saturday before we hit the Christmas holiday. All right. So, have you been? I hope everything is good with you. I'm slowly pecking away at some of the situations that I have going on that I'm trying to get straightened out. So, keep us in your thoughts and your prayers, and we'll do the same for you. I gotta tell you though, last night I got out and had a fantastic time. Yeah, the sounds of Minneapolis rolled through this Chicagoland suburban area last night in the form of Sheila E. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I tell you, she put on a wonderful show. The sound of Minneapolis with that Bay Area flavor, if you know what I mean. I mean, the beats were hot, the rhythm was good, the vocals were all of that. The entire band was excellent. And what else could we expect from Sheila E., right? It was just a great experience. I can't tell you. I can't even begin to tell you the energy that was in the theater. She came through Joliet, Illinois at the Rialto Square Theater. She's on her tour, in the middle of her tour. She has some more tour dates. So if you can travel and you want to catch her, other places, if she's already been to your area, you can go to her website, SheilaE.com, to catch her at her other tour stops. But I tell you, it was just a fantastic show. Positive messaging, messages of love, the importance of us spreading love and sharing love. And of course, she had us all stand up and turn to not the people that we were with, but someone that we didn't know, and give them a big hug and to say, I love you, because as she said, we just never know what people are going through in this day and age. And, you know, you might have been that first person to say that too. To say I love you to them. So it was just a warm, cozy environment. She actually came out into the audience to perform one of her songs, a beautiful song. We heard some Prince songs in there, and of course some of her older music. Glamorous Life. Loved it. Erotic City. I mean, it was just so good. And if you follow me on social media, on my Twitter account, I just wanted to enjoy the show. I wasn't trying to go to Facebook and all these other places to post, but because I wanted to enjoy the show. So I just stuck to Twitter and posted some of the video footage of her performances. Of course, I don't own the rights to it, but it was okay for us to do that. And so hopefully you can check out Marilyn's Cafe Social on Twitter and take a listen to some of the clips of the video that I was able to get. She could not stop and chat with me because they had another date, not part of the tour, but just another side date that she had to make, and so they were out to be able to make that date today, and so I didn't get to chat with her, but fun time. I missed an opportunity to jump on stage. She did her dance part of the show and invited folks up on the stage, and gosh, my buddy I was with at the show ran up there, and I just didn't get up fast enough. And then when I thought to get up, I thought it was too late. But anyway, there will be another opportunity, and I can't wait. So yeah, great show, fun time. They performed straight through for about 90 minutes. No intermission or anything. So it was a great show. They stayed on schedule. And again, check out SheilaE.com to find out her next stop. All right. So let's get into it. We do have a guest who's going to be popping in. I think I'm going to initiate the call on this one. And then I have a interview that I did last week, not this past week, but the week prior, that I'm in the process of editing so that you can get a good listen. Now, I know that there are some live shows where we had some bloopers and it was live, but in that case, it was a recorded show. So I can actually edit out some of the things that happened. Some of it was beyond our control, and I just don't. And then we had some side conversation that you don't need to hear. So I'm going to do a little bit of editing on it, and I'll get it out. I talked to a Prince, not the Prince, whose presence was felt, by the way, last night at the Rialto Square Theater with Sheila E., but a Prince, and you'll get the full introduction and everything once I get that posted. Hopefully by Tuesday of next week, that interview should be posted. So just check back here at YouTube, or you can go to Maryland'sCafeSociety.com and catch that one. But we do have another person who's going to be an important person who's going to be checking in about 10 more minutes. So let me just go ahead and get some of this other information out of the way. On this day in history, we always do that. Back in 1983, Ameritech Mobile Communications provided the first mobile phone service to the general public here in the United States, and their city of choice to roll it out was Chicago, Illinois. How about it? All right. Of course, you guys know those phones were super huge. Like, let me grab something for the young people who may be listening so you can get an idea of how huge those first mobile phones were. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, maybe not quite this big, but pretty close. Pretty close. Now, of course, we know that the first mobile phone call was made some 10 years earlier, April of 1973, by Martin Cooper, who was an engineer for Motorola. So he actually made the first mobile phone call. They've been working on this technology for quite some time. But in terms of the service being available to the general public, it didn't happen until 1983, and Ameritech Mobile Communications is getting credit for that. All right. And also on this day in history in 2005, Apple introduced the new iPod device to the United States. Remember that? I remember it. I'm not an Apple person, a Macintosh. Well, my first computer was a Macintosh, but I didn't like it. But sorry, Apple and all of that. But anyway, all the Apple people rushed to the stores to get it. They were charged a hefty price of $299, just under $300 for the device. And that was the first generation iPod, that particular first generation iPod was capable of playing video at a resolution of 320 by 240. So that was sort of the introduction to video on the tablet type device. All right. All right. So that's your look at on this day in history today. Also, we're just going to skim over some news real quick. And I don't mean to make light of it. Probably should spend more time. I just haven't had time in the week to reach out to, do the proper research and try to connect with people and do something more extensive. But we all know that Hurricane Michael hit the Florida Panhandle, and of course in Mexico Beach, Florida, did some devastating damage there. By the time it was all over, the whole town was literally wiped out. Right now, the death toll is at 14, and of course, they are expecting that number to rise because the damage is just so devastating. There's no phone service and so forth, so they really don't know who survived and who didn't survive. It is being reported that many people had decided to ride the storm out, ride the hurricane out, and not evacuate as they were all advised to. In fact, I believe it was a mandatory evacuation. And a great number of those people, thank goodness, did survive, but there are some who did not. And so we'll be watching the story closely to find out, hopefully the numbers won't get any worse, but there is some speculation that the numbers will rise in terms of those who did not make it. We just want to, of course, offer our prayers and thoughts and best wishes to everyone that has been affected. And of course, whatever we can do, as always, if you can't get there and help with cleanup, rescue and search and all of that, certainly donate items. There's always churches and not-for-profit organizations and these situations and cases who kind of step up and take donations to get down there to the people who are suffering. So you can do that and or donate money. So again, our thoughts and prayers are with the people out there and the Florida Panhandle area and any, that whole surrounding region that may have been impacted by Hurricane Michael. All right, and then we'll take a quick look at business. The Dow is up 287.16. So is the S&P. They're up 38.76. And the NASDAQ is also up 167.83. Stocks on the move. Things are looking good for Citigroup. They're up $1.46. Starbucks is looking good these days. They're up $1.59. So is Tesla. They're rebounding. They're up $6.55, and Microsoft is experiencing a good time right now. They're up $3.66. Things aren't looking so good for Ford Motor Company right now. They're down 17 cents, which isn't too bad. And General Electric is also down by 40 cents. And Royal Gold is down $1.51. Now, they are gold producers. And we're not sure what caused the slip, but thank goodness it's not too bad. All right, and that is a look at our cafe news. Let's go ahead and get our first guest, actually our only guest today, on the phone. If you follow me again on social media, you have noticed a couple weeks ago that I did a post from a play, a wonderful play that I and some of my friends had an opportunity to go check out. And so we are going to be talking to the person responsible for that play. Isn't that good? Hello. Well, hello there. I'm trying to reach Mr. Alan Jacobson.
Thank you you've got him.
Well, fantastic. How are you, Alan?
I am great. Perfect timing. I just came back from a nice long run, did my workout, and I'm feeling good.
Good.
Ready to talk to you.
I was gonna ask, did you get it all taken care of?
All taken care of.
Fantastic. Well, listen, it's good to talk to you, especially on the show, on my YouTube show, Marilyn's Cafe Society. I just want to let our viewers know who I am speaking with, and that is, of course, Alan Jacobson. He's the creator, author, and original producer of the stage play Waist Watchers, the musical.
Yay!
Yay! Rah, rah! And of course, I had an opportunity to check the play out and was laughing myself into a frenzy there. It was really quite a great performance and at a very cozy, intimate theater, the Royal George Theater here in Chicago.
Yeah, it's a great theater and a great space. It's actually the first time we've done it in a space like that. We typically do it in your standard type of theater that has a rise, of a stage and what's called the proscenium arch. Kind of looks like a rectangle or above the stage with curtains and such. But this is more of a cabaret style space, and the action takes place on the floor, and then the audience rises up from that, which was really great because it gave us some opportunities to do some things that we can't always do with another kind of setup.
Yeah. I that was my first experience with that theater, and so we were walking. I was like, "Where are we going? Where are we going?" And then we got into the space. It was really nice. Waist Watchers the musical. What inspired you to write this show, Alan? And was this particular production your first theatrical production?
No, I'm a long-time producer. I actually stopped producing when I turned the producing responsibilities of Waist Watchers the musical over to the current producer, Dana Mathau. But I was a producer for a number of years, and I had seen a show that was unique and different. And back in 2001, I think it was. And I was looking at the audience, and I'm saying, wow, this is really interesting. The way they're responding is crazy, like a World Wrestling Foundation match.
Okay.
And it made me think, I've got to come up with something like that. So I did my research, tried to find a show. Well, first of all, the first thing I had to decide on was a topic. And I decided that the topic should be food. Because food is something that everybody has to have at some point in their lives, if not every day. And it's something that people talk about a lot too, and they socialize over. So I scoured, looking really hard to find a show out there. I saw one show, but it just didn't pique my interest. So I said, you know what? Maybe I'll take a stab at it and see if I could write something myself. And I had written a couple short plays, more oriented for kids, because my wife was a drama teacher, and I wrote them, and they were responded to very well. They were, geared toward kids, but yet there was a lot of adult humor in them, so it wouldn't bore the adults when they went to see their kids in their productions.
Okay.
So I said, I'm going to take a stab at it, and I wrote 4 songs, actually just like one verse of 4 different songs, and I came up with an outline for the show, and I took it to one of the top professional theaters in our area, which is near where I live in Florida, and I'm sitting with the artistic director, and he's laughing at everything, and he said, let's do this.
Okay.
I hadn't even written a show, so it's that old, comes from that movie, if you build it, they will come. So here's the idea. Hadn't been written. He said, let's do it. We put it on the calendar, and then I had to write the show.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So has it sort of, well, obviously I'm sure it has evolved over time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because the production that I had an opportunity to see, and of course you were there too, touched on so many issues. I mean, food was the centerpiece, but it touched on a lot of issues and feelings that women are dealing with, like weight gain and body image, and their relationship with food, menopause, and all of that.
Right. Well,
and you're a man, so you're a man. Did you know that?
I am. Okay. Yes, that is true.
So how were you able to so how were you able to touch on those issues so eloquently? Did your wife help?
Well, first of all, no, my wife did not help at all.
Okay.
Nope. But I've observed her a lot.
Ah.
28 years or 27 years of marriage.
Okay.
And a couple children. A 22-year-old and an 18-year-old.
Got it.
Well, first of all, when I researched the show and I thought of the topic of food, and I started thinking about how to structure the show, I realized that writing an entire show about just food was not enough. So I said to myself, okay, so how does food impact us? And that's what you saw. It's diets and dieting. It's plastic surgery, which is part of body image. It's so many other things, how we feel about ourselves, self-esteem, plastic surgery, all these things that people do in order to make themselves look better. Or if they don't, sometimes they anguish over it. And one of the things that was really important to me right from the beginning was to make it empowering, to make people realize that, you should take care of yourself. It's really important for a number of reasons, for your health. So, I'm a firm believer in doing exercise. I don't say what, it could be any exercise that, someone likes to do, but do exercise, eat healthily, and then no matter what size you are, be happy with yourself.
Yeah.
And I found that to be very empowering.
Yeah.
So, getting back to your question, I don't know how I got into the head of women. It just kind of came to me. I really don't have an answer for that, other than maybe the fact that I've always been a pretty sensitive person and intuitive, and I've had a lot of female friends going back to my high school days, and I've been around women a lot, and obviously I've been married, and also being an actor, you're very observant about things. So I'm a keen observer of people and life, and it just kind of flowed.
Okay. Yeah, it flowed very well, and it's just very entertaining the way you were able to kind of give people a release of some of those feelings that some people take these feelings of body image and self-esteem very seriously, and so anyone who take some time out of their schedule to go catch Waist Watchers, the musical, you'll leave there with a totally different perspective on yourself, hopefully, because it is a feel-good musical and play. Speaking of which, expect some singing, and you landed one of the one of America's biggest powerhouse voices, and that is, of course, Martha Wash. How did you make that happen?
Well, Chicago is a big city, and there are a lot of theaters in there, and we just felt like we needed somebody to help be a draw, and Martha was just a great fit, and not just as a talent, but a great fit as a person. Because when you have a 4 or 5 character show, you have to be a true ensemble. The people have to not only work well together on stage, but they have to get along off stage, because how you are off stage can sometimes impact how you are on stage. And she's just a giving, generous person and has gotten along great with everybody in the company.
Yeah, yeah. For those who may recall the name and can't quite figure it out, she was with the Weather Girls, and one of their big songs was "It's Raining Men." Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what was the other one? The dance? Was it the dance song? Everybody
Yeah,
dance
yeah.
now. All right, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. She, her and the ladies, all of them had super voices and projected quite well from the stage and made you believe what they were singing about and talking about on stage. You mentioned that you had Alan. You mentioned you produced other smaller plays prior to this one. And I know, I kind of I host and produce this show. And prior to this YouTube show, it was a 2-hour radio show. And so I kind of get, what it's like, but from the perspective of writing a stage play or musical and pulling the production together. What's that like producing your own show?
I mean, it's great. It's very different. I started out as an actor, which is actually how I met my wife. We met at an audition for a national tour of Damn Yankees, and there were a lot of people waiting. And I said, you know what, you want to go out for some coffee? Went to a coffee shop for a couple hours. Never went back to the audition, and that was it.
Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. But I did my share of producing, and one of the reasons why I turned to producing from acting was because my wife was really more focused at that time on performing, and I didn't want to have one of those relationships where, I'm in California, she's in Idaho or Massachusetts or wherever for weeks at a time, and I wanted to have a relationship where we could spend, as much time as possible together, with certain breaks that she were performing, and be able to raise a family. That was really important to me. So I turned to producing, started a little theater company in New York, and then we moved down to Florida and started a theater company. And we eventually had our own theater in Florida.
Oh.
What I love about producing is that I get to pull the whole thing together. It starts with the director, because I would always choose the director, and the director is the person who really drives the show.
Okay.
And then I assemble the rest of the team, the designers, the set designer, the lighting designer, the costume designer, and such. Sometimes I would do it on my own. Sometimes I would do it in conjunction with the director. And I love the casting process because I love to see what actors can bring to the table. And any actors that are listening to this, please know that we people that are sitting behind a table or in a theater casting, we want everybody to be great. We want to hire everybody. But unfortunately, there aren't enough roles for all the people that show up for auditions. So you find the people that are the best fit, or sometimes the people that just kind of surprise you. I've actually had that happen where I was doing a production of Crossing Delancey, and there was a gentleman who I felt was a little too old to play opposite the lead female, and I envisioned him for another role, and he was a wonderful actor, and he begged me, please let me read for this, please let me read for this, and I said, okay, and he did, and he changed my perception.
Okay.
And I cast him in it. So, I just love pulling the whole thing together and then watching it start from day one, where you sit around the table and read script, till when you finally get it up on stage and you get to see the audience reaction.
Yeah, I get that. I get it. In your case, though, you're dealing with so many different elements of a different type of show, but I get it. Starting thinking of something, pulling everything together, and then watching everything kind of come to fruition, and then finally the big production. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
get it.
exciting and it's scary at the same time. Because you just never know what an audience is going to like from show to show.
Gotcha.
So there's that element of fear. The first night of Waste Watchers the musical, which was originally called Food Fight, um, it which which was a title that was a little too clever for its own good.
Okay.
Eventually, I settled on Waste Watchers the musical, which is a title that people really can connect with and it resonates. But the opening night, my wife was sitting to me. Now she is my toughest critic. She'll be brutally honest about things. I mean, I was so nervous. I don't think I had fingernails left before the start of the show. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking over at her, and I'm looking at the audience, and I look around at people, because that's what I like to do as a producer, or as an author when I go to see my show. And I'm listening, and the response was phenomenal. And I still wasn't quite settled yet. I still wasn't quite sure if we had a show until the second night.
Okay.
And at that point, I said, "Wow, we've got a show." And but I was nervous.
Yeah.
And I was more vulnerable than just being a producer, because now I was a writer,
Yes.
and I didn't know if what I wrote was good or would connect with people.
Yes.
And it's, knock on wood, it's connected in a way that I had no idea when I first wrote it. It's just, people just feel so good, and people sometimes do walk out saying, I gotta exercise, or I gotta eat better, or I have to do this or that. And people just feel empowered, and they feel good about themselves.
Absolutely.
It's a great feeling.
Absolutely. I get it. All right. And so for the time being, you're going to be in Chicago for another couple of weeks or more. And
Possibly longer.
possibly longer. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
We
yeah.
right now we're scheduled through November, but it could go on. If we get enough people out, we're gonna try and sit down in Chicago for as long as we can.
All right. Chicago's a great theater town, so you couldn't have picked a better place. What are the future plans for the show? Once you leave Chicago, you're headed to Florida, right?
We're going to be in Miami mid-December through mid-January, which we will have played in Florida for already over a year. The theater that I had it played at for 6 months, and the only reason why I stopped the production was because we had a regular season that we had to produce. So it was time to put on our regular season, but it ran from February to September back in 2013. And then it played at some other venues, and now it's going to go to Miami. We're going to be on Long Island next summer.
Okay.
We also are going to be going on our first international tour. We will be in Australia and New Zealand starting next summer.
Oh,
And that I'm thrilled about.
wow. Oh, wow. All right. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to be, that's got to be a great feeling to know that, the buzz is such that, you have interest internationally.
It's great. It's really great.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any other productions in your imagination, Alan?
Yeah. You mean any other shows that I'm thinking of writing?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I've thought of things. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, I want to really take Waste Watchers, the musical, as far as it can go, and I think it's got a long, long life. We are looking at a number of other cities in the United States as well, including New York and Las Vegas, and we just really want to maximize the opportunities that there are here, and then start looking at some other international opportunities as well. So a lot of my focus is on that.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. I understand. I mean, I get it because it is a great show, and just the title of the production alone is a draw because folks are thinking, Ways to Watchers, the musical, what is this about? And
Yeah.
yeah, so again, folks, if you have not caught it yet, you should try to pencil in some time. I believe the run is Wednesday through Sunday, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday through Sunday at the Royal George Theater here in Chicago. You can go to wastewatchers.com. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not.
Actually,
It's,
wastewatchersthemusical.com.
yeah, wastewatchersthemusical.com to get all of that important information and make sure that you get on out there and support the show and get a little therapy in the process.
And a little workout with the ladies.
And a workout, I tell you, just so much. I'm glad that you shared the story about the gentleman who was reading for one of your other productions, and you thought that he was too old for it, and you'd kind of in your mind written him off. But then once you gave him an opportunity, he proved you wrong, and that's kind of what this play does too. Especially if you're dealing with aging, you're concerned about aging and your career, because we know, Alan, once you start hitting a certain age, no matter what field you work in, you start to feel the little push out the door, so to speak. So this play touches on, how to deal with that as well, how to get through all of those issues that we may have to deal with in life.
Oh, absolutely. And the transformation that each of the characters in the show have. The arc of the story is such that I'm not going to give away, but again, it's very empowering.
Yes.
And I'm a big believer in not giving into age. Sure, you're going to slow down as you age, but you could still exercise, you could still eat healthy, you could still have a great mindset. Because
Absolutely.
mindset is so important. My dad is a perfect example. He is going to be 88 in November, and he teaches 8 to 10 fitness classes a week.
See? Yes.
So,
Yes.
at any age, there are things that you can accomplish.
Absolutely.
Put your mind to it.
Absolutely. I think slowly that whole concept of you're too old for this is being thrown out of the window. Just as that concept for women who wanted to be in show business. If you weigh more than 100 pounds, you can't audition. But that is also just something of old now. Thank goodness, and we're seeing women of all sizes and entertainment and the show business and other arenas that typically, because of their size or age, they would not be able to get into.
Marilyn, I'm having a little trouble hearing you right now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, there we go. That's better. Thank you.
Yeah. Just an aside, last night I caught Sheila E. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She's the percussionist, the iconic percussionist. Yeah. She performed. I'm telling you, that energy. She shared that she'll be 61, and she was on that stage, run across that stage, playing those instruments, singing, doing everything as if she was in her 20s.
Absolutely.
So yes, well, and of course she's had years of practice. She's been doing it for 3 decades. But yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you a little story. So I was a long-time track and field athlete.
Okay.
There are a number of things in the show that actually are reflective of my life experiences as well. And I was a long time. I was never heavy, but I was a long-time track and field athlete and a long-distance athlete. And actually, I turned from being a runner into a competitive race walker. That's the Olympic race walking.
Yeah.
And I actually did represent the United States in international competitions. And I also taught what my dad coined the term health walking in in New York City. We started in the late 70s and continued for a number of years, and now someone else has taken over for us. We're both down in Florida. But there was a woman, her name is Gwen Clark. I'm sure she's probably still walking in heaven. But she started walking. She came to one of our clinics, and she started at the age of 88. And well into her 90s, she was walking 6 miles every day. It didn't matter how fast she was going or how slow, she was doing it.
Yes.
And it was just so inspiring to watch her. I mean, even at the age of 100, she was still walking.
Oh.
It was just incredible.
Yes.
So the point is that any woman or man, because men that come to see the show love it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that comes to see the show, hopefully they're inspired to realize that there are things that they can do to live a longer life, live a more healthy life, and live a more joyful life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I shared with you when we talked at the theater that some years ago, I haven't done it lately because of my schedule, but instead of hitting the outdoor track, sometimes I would go out into the mall. This whole concept of mall walkers. Have you heard of them?
I remember.
Yeah.
Sure. See, there were little clubs around the country.
Yeah, going back maybe 20, 30 years. And so I went out to see what this was all about. And I tell you, there were these senior citizens in their 60s, 70s, 80s, just as you shared, walking the mall. And I'm trying to keep up with them. But it was very inspiring, and of course motivated me to, get myself together. Because if these senior citizens can outwalk you, and I think back then I was in my 30s, if a senior citizen can outwalk a 30-year-old, my goodness. So needless to say, I'm much, 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 much better. But yeah, the senior citizens are learning how to keep themselves going. I think it's when you slow down and stop moving is when things happen, So, yep. Very good. So, listen, I just, again, enjoyed the show. Appreciate this talk with you and the insight that you have given us on the work that you do, and specifically with this Waist Watchers, the musical. And you're running through November, everyone. Again, it's at the Royal George Theater here in the Chicagoland area. It's waistwatchersthemusical.com. This is, of course, Alan Jacobson, the creator, author, and the original producer of this production. Alan, any closing remarks before we go?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed it. And I just hope that your listeners will be motivated to go out and see the show and tell all their friends and help us spread this message across Chicago and let it just keep running and running and running.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Alan, if you're looking for one more hot mama, you found her. Folks, you'll have to go to the play to find out what I'm referencing there. Or if you follow me on social media, you may have seen it, but yeah.
Right.
All right, Alan. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us here at the Cafe Society on this Saturday.
My pleasure, and thank you again.
All right. You take care. Have a great weekend.
You have a great, healthy day.
Yes, sir. Will do. You do the same. Peace. All right, that's Alan Jacobson, once again, creator, writer, and original producer of Waist Watchers, the musical. You can go to their website at waistwatchersthemusical.com for more information about their run dates here in Chicago and where their dates in Miami, and then, of course, internationally, if you're listening or viewing this YouTube show internationally, to find out what part of the world they will be in, so that you can catch it. It is a great show. Of course, one of their lead actors and performers in the show is Martha Wash, one of the Weather Girls. And, you know, she and all the ladies do a tremendous job in this production. So go out. I saw it. I give it a thumbs up or a pinky up. So go see it, everybody. It's great. All right, that is going to do it for this Saturday, October 13th, 2018. Oh, I do want to mention the health fair. I'm going to be at a health fair next Saturday at Second Baptist Church here in the Joliet community. So come on out. I believe they're serving lunch at noon. And then at 1 o'clock, you'll get to hear some of their health experts speak and talk about things that we can do to stay healthy, or, you know, get back to the road to great health. Again, that's at Second Baptist Church here in Joliet, 158 South Joliet Street in Joliet, Illinois. All right. And that's going to kick off at noon next Saturday, October 20th. And I'll be there to do just to do a quick meet and greet. And also I will be doing my 3/12 Saturdays till Christmas gift bag giveaways. So you want to make sure that you be there so that you can throw your name in the hat and possibly win one of those gift bags. All right. All right. Any other announcements? We do have another concert that's coming up that this show is going to be involved with, and I'll be making some announcements about that next week. And I think that's it for now, everybody. So I'm going to tell you what love is on this Saturday. Love is when you leave him at a loss for words. Okay. And also remember to find me on Twitter, Marilyn's Cafe Social, on Facebook, Marilyn's Cafe Society. I'm on Instagram, but I rarely use it. And Maryland'sCafeSociety.com, which has a link to this YouTube channel where you can view some of the older interviews and talks that I've done since launching or relaunching this YouTube channel in February. All right, so go ahead and go to Maryland'sCafeSociety.com. Be sure to follow, like, friend, retweet, subscribe, do all that good stuff, share, and let all your friends know about the show as well. I got to tell you, it's been a pleasure and a privilege as always. Remember, if you don't do anything else this week, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. Peace, everybody. Look for that interview with the Prince that, or a Prince that I was telling you about. It should be up by Tuesday of next week. All right. Peace and be safe and keep warm.